escaped death once, but fate never forgets. Now, it's coming back to finish what it started. We meet Iris and her boyfriend, Paul. Today's a special day. Paul's got a surprise for her. He walks her while she's blindfolded, all smiles. And when he finally removes it, boom, she's stunned. Right in front of her stands the Skyview restaurant, the tallest restaurant ever built, 494 feet high, opening today. Paul's excited like a kid. Iris is happy, but you can tell she's a bit nervous. Still, they go inside. But outside, something small happens that feels off. A little boy's picking coins from the fountain. A guard tells him, "Don't do that, kid. It brings bad luck." The boy just shrugs and walks away. Remember that coin. It's gonna matter later. Meanwhile, Iris and Paul get into the tallest elevator ever built. The elevator operator greets everyone proudly, bragging about how amazing the place is. How it was even finished 5 months ahead of schedule. Sounds impressive, right? Yeah, but that's usually when things go wrong. They finally reach the top. Paul heads to the front desk to confirm their reservation, but the receptionist says there's no record of it. Paul's pissed. He walks back to Iris, but she doesn't look good. She says she needs the restroom, feeling dizzy and sick. While that's happening, a bartender pops open a champagne bottle. The cork shoots up, hits a chandelier, and a sharp glass shard breaks off, falling right onto the restaurant's glass floor. Crack! A small line spreads under the customer's feet. And down below, the camera shows the metal joints trembling under the weight. Something's not right. Things start to go wrong, my friend. Iris meets a singer performing at the restaurant, a warm woman sitting with her little boy. They start talking, and the singer looks at Iris for a second and asks, "Are you pregnant?" Iris hesitates, then quietly says yes. It's been 2 months, but she hasn't told Paul yet. She's scared, and suddenly it all makes sense. The nausea, the weird feelings earlier. The woman smiles, gives her a blessing, and goes back to her son. Later, Iris returns to Paul, and he takes her to this open area with a stunning view. They start chatting, laughing, and then out of nowhere, Paul drops to one knee. He proposes. Iris is speechless, tears in her eyes, and that's when she finally tells him the truth. "Paul, I'm pregnant." She expects him to be shocked, maybe even upset, but instead, he smiles wide, happier than ever, and slides the ring onto her finger. It's a little tight, but Iris says softly, "It's perfect." Meanwhile, remember that kid from before? The one who was stealing coins from the fountain? He's back, and now he's on the rooftop, throwing coins down. A guard spots him and shouts, "Stop that!" A coin falling from this height could kill someone, but the kid doesn't care. He tosses another one, and that single coin gets sucked into an air vent, clinking through the metal until it gets jammed in a fan. Keep that coin in mind, brother. It's about to change everything. Back inside, the night's full of joy. Iris and Paul are dancing with everyone else, their smiles glowing under the lights. But beneath their feet, that crack in the glass floor is spreading, slowly, silently, like a warning nobody hears. And just then, that coin pops out of the fan, ricochets off a pipe, clang, and suddenly, gas starts leaking into the room. Something terrible is about to happen. Here, Iris and Paul are still dancing, but suddenly, Iris feels that strange sensation again, that something bad is about to happen. She quickly steps away from the glass section just in time, before the entire floor shatters beneath everyone's feet. People start falling 494 feet straight down, screaming as they plummet. Iris reaches out and tries to grab Paul's hand, but he slips from her grip, and just like that, he's gone. Down below, the building's support joints snap and chaos takes over. A woman catches fire while running, and when she passes near a vent leaking gas, It explodes. Flames spread everywhere. Iris narrowly dodges the explosion, but she watches helplessly as the singer she met earlier burns alive. Before dying, the woman pushes her little boy into a nearby box. One last desperate act to save him. But the flames keep spreading. More glass panels collapse, and the building begins to bend where its structure failed. Some people manage to land near the windows and survive, but only for a moment. Then, that chandelier coin finally drops. It hits a grand piano in the middle of the room, sending it flying straight into the glass wall, killing even more people. A few guests rush into the elevator, but it can't handle the weight. It snaps and crashes down. They're crushed instantly, including the receptionist. Others try the stairs, but those give out too, killing everyone on them. Only the coin kid makes it to the ground floor. He smiles, thinking he survived, until the grand piano falls from above and crushes him flat. And just like that, the same coin he kept flipping lands right back into the fountain. It really makes you wonder. Maybe bad luck is real. Now, only Iris remains, barely alive. And then, Iris spots the singer's little boy through the chaos. She rushes to him and tries to pull him to safety, but the floor gives way again. Both of them slip, hanging off the edge for their lives. Iris's hand clings to a metal ledge, but Paul's ring, still stuck on her finger, catches on the edge, tearing her skin apart. She screams in pain, her grip slipping, and in the next second, they both fall. Just like that, it's over. Cut to present day. We meet Stephanie, a young woman tormented by nightmares she can't explain. Every night she sees flashes of Iris, the disaster, the fire, and the fall. They feel too real, like memories she never lived. Unable to take it anymore, she finally confides in her friend. She reveals something strange. Iris isn't just a name from her dreams. She's her grandmother, someone she's never even met. But why does she keep seeing her? And what really happened that night? Determined to find answers, Stephanie visits her father's house, where he lives with her younger brother, Charlie. Her mother, Darlene, Iris's daughter, left when Stephanie was only 10 and never came back. When she asks her dad about Iris, he shuts down. He doesn't want to talk. So, Stephanie decides to dig deeper. She takes Charlie and heads to her Uncle Howard's place, meeting her cousins there. When she brings up Iris and the mysterious disaster, Howard's face changes. He insists nothing like that ever happened. According to him, Iris wasn't a victim. She was insane. He says she used to lock people up, send disturbing letters, and draw twisted pictures. Eventually, the family had enough. They cut her off completely. Howard warns Stephanie to stay away, forget Iris, forget the past. But Stephanie can't. Something deep inside tells her there's more to the story, and she's not leaving until she finds out the truth. Stephanie keeps digging and finally discovers old letters written by Iris. They contain an address far from the city, deep in the woods. Following the trail, Stephanie finally reaches a bunker, hidden and isolated. Inside lives Iris, still alive, but completely alone. She's constantly watching her security cameras, checking who's outside, always afraid, always alert. When Stephanie calls out through the intercom, Iris answers, her voice tired but steady. She tells Stephanie to come in, but only if she leaves her phone and keys outside. Once inside, Stephanie finally sits face to face with her grandmother. And that's when Iris drops a truth that changes everything. Those nightmares Stephanie keeps having, they're not dreams, they're memories, flashes of what Iris once lived through. Because everything we saw at the start, the disaster, the deaths, none of it actually happened. It was going to happen. But before it did, Iris had a vision, a warning from something beyond. and using that vision, she saved everyone in the Skyview restaurant. But that came with a price, because in this world, death isn't just an idea. It's a force, a being that comes to collect what's owed. In Death's plan, no one in that restaurant was meant to survive. So, when Iris changed fate, Death came back, one by one, to reclaim every life that should have ended that day. Paul was the first to go, and since then, Iris has been running, studying, trying to understand. Over the years, she wrote a book, a guide explaining how death works, how it chooses, and maybe how to fight it. Now, she believes death isn't done yet. It's coming for her entire bloodline, because Iris broke the rules. She tells Stephanie, maybe I was the only one meant to survive, but I saved them all, and by doing that, I doomed everyone who came after me. Stephanie can't take it anymore. She thinks her grandmother's lost her mind. When she tries to leave, Iris begs her to take the book. It might be the only thing that saves you, she says. But Stephanie storms out, calling it nonsense. Iris watches her go, and she knows what that means. Stepping outside now is death. And to prove she's telling the truth, Iris walks out the bunker door. The moment she does, something unseen strikes her, and she dies instantly. The next scene cuts to her funeral. Darlene, Stephanie's estranged mother, finally returns after all these years. But Stephanie isn't happy to see her, not after she abandoned her as a child and never came back. The following day, while the rest of the family heads to a party at Uncle Howard's house, Stephanie stays home, unaware that the curse has only just begun. Even Darlene shows up at the funeral, but when the family asks her to come back and reconnect, she refuses, still carrying the same bitterness and distance that tore them apart years ago. Meanwhile, Stephanie can't shake off her grandmother's words. Something deep inside her knows Iris wasn't lying. She opens the book Iris left behind, and right there, between the first few pages, lies that same coin, the one that started everything at the Skyview restaurant. As she flips through the pages, she realizes this isn't just a diary. It's a full manual of death, filled with diagrams, incidents, and terrifyingly detailed notes about how people can die. Car crashes, truck accidents, plane explosions, every possible way death could strike. And right there, a page mentioning a plane explosion, a clear reference to the very first Final Destination movie, where it all began. Inside the book are old newspaper clippings too, each one describing deaths from the past Final Destination films, confirming what Iris said was true. Every single tragedy was connected. Every survivor from the Skyview disaster passed their curse down through their bloodlines. And now, death is finally finishing the job. Back at the family party, everything seems normal. Kids are laughing, jumping on a trampoline, but underneath it lies a sharp garden tool, pointing straight up. Darlene notices it just in time and pulls it away. Maybe she sensed something, or maybe death was just waiting for the right moment. Stephanie arrives at the party, already uneasy. She's connecting the dots, realizing how close they all are to repeating history. But before she can warn anyone, it begins. A water bottle rolls off a table and lands on a pump switch, turning it on. Water starts flowing through a pipe, shaking loose a bunch of garden tools nearby. A glass cup falls and shatters, sending a sharp shard into Howard's foot. He stumbles backward, trying to steady himself, but the tools he loosened fall onto a lawnmower, starting it. The mower shoots forward, blades spinning, and before anyone can react, it tears straight into Howard's face. Instant death. At his funeral, Stephanie can barely breathe. She dives back into Iris's book, desperate for answers, and there, hidden between notes and photos, she finds a name, JB, a man who once met a Final Destination survivor, Fans of the franchise will recognize it immediately, and for those who don't, just wait. Stephanie then draws her family tree, trying to see how far the curse has spread. At the top, Iris and Paul. Their children, Howard and Darlene. Howard's kids, Bobby, Eric, and Julia. Darlene's, Stephanie and Charlie. Now, it all makes sense. Stephanie finally understands. Every one of them should have died that day in Skyview. And now, death is coming to finish what it started. But Iris changed fate, and Death's job was left unfinished. Now it's coming back to claim everyone who was never meant to exist in the first place. The survivors of Skyview started families that weren't supposed to be born, and Death has been hunting them down one by one. First, it took Iris, then Howard. Next up, Eric, Julia, Bobby, then Darlene, and finally, Stephanie and her little brother Charlie. But no one believes her. Everyone thinks Stephanie's losing her mind, just like Iris. The disbelief crushes her, and for the first time, she understands what her grandmother must have felt, fighting an invisible enemy while everyone around her called her crazy. That same night, we find Eric alone in his tattoo parlor, inking a design in memory of his father. Music's blasting through the speakers, the bass so heavy it rattles the entire room. A bottle of chemicals tips over, spilling across the table. Then, a metal chain hanging near the fan snaps loose and latches onto Eric's nose, piercing. He panics, trying to pull away, but the spilled chemicals catch fire. Within seconds, the entire shop erupts into flames. The next morning, Stephanie jolts awake from another nightmare. She grabs Charlie, shouting that they need to find Eric, fast. They race to his place, but to their shock, he's still alive. He managed to escape the fire just in time. Stephanie tries to warn him, begging him to take it seriously, but Eric just laughs it off. He thinks it's all coincidence. Then Julia shows up, and she doesn't believe it either. They all think Stephanie's just paranoid, until it happens. Julia, standing by the road, gets hit by a ball from nowhere and stumbles backward, straight into a trash bin. Before anyone can react, a garbage truck rolls in and lifts the bin. "Julia, get out!" they scream, but it's too late. The machine crushes her between its compactors. Everyone freezes in horror. Stephanie breaks down. She tells them that Death is smart, because she already revealed the order. So now, it's changing it. Death could come for anyone, anytime, anywhere. But then, Eric's mother steps forward and says quietly, the order hasn't changed, because Eric's not part of Howard's bloodline. Everyone stares at her. She finally confesses. Eric was born from an affair. He's not connected to Iris's family curse. That's why he survived the fire. And Julia was Howard's firstborn. That's why she was taken first. The truth hits Eric like a punch to the gut. He's not cursed, but he's never truly been part of the family either. As they leave the hospital, Stephanie keeps thinking about what JB said. The only way to escape death is to die. But before she can make sense of it, Bobby's car suddenly swerves. A truck's brakes fail, rushing toward them at full speed. Everyone screams as the truck flips, crashing into the divider. They barely manage to escape, but Bobby's badly hurt. Eric pulls him out just before the car explodes. Stephanie looks at the flames, terrified. Death is getting closer. Back home, she spreads out all of Iris's notes on the floor, searching for clues. There must be something they missed. That's when Charlie walks in, holding an old photograph. It's Iris, standing next to JB and a little girl with a hospital bracelet. Stephanie freezes. It's the same girl JB mentioned, the one who died and came back. Maybe she's still alive. Maybe she's the key to ending this once and for all. Meanwhile, Eric comes up with a desperate plan of his own. He tells Bobby about his peanut allergy. If he eats peanuts, he'll go into anaphylactic shock. The idea? To bring himself as close to death as possible, then revive him right before it's too late. That way, the cycle breaks, and death skips him. Later, Stephanie and Charlie visit their dad. Nearby, that same woman who picked up the coin is shopping for supplies. The coin slips from her hand and lands right on a train track. Remember how this all started with a coin? Well, it's about to end the same way. The doctor tells Stephanie she never actually died. She only passed out, which means they didn't cheat death. The cycle is still on. And then, strange signs start again. The train hits the coin wedged in the tracks. It derails and crashes onto the road. Stephanie and Charlie run for their lives. It looks like they might have made it. But nope. A massive pile of wooden logs breaks loose from the train and crashes down, crushing them both. That's how Final Destination ends, with death proving once again you can run all you want, but you can never escape.